Good morning, friends. Have you ever thought like what would you want to do after completing CA? Would you like to go for employment or would you like to do a practice? Okay, so as I can see, most of them today are interested in going for an employment. When in the earlier days, like in the 1970s and 1960s, most of the people, most of the chartered accountants, they used to be in practice. Like some around 80% of the chartered accountants in India, they used to be in practice, and only 20% of them used to go for an employment. But these days, with the increasing employment opportunities, most of the chartered accountants are going for employment. Like now, if we see the statistics, nearly 80% of them are going for employment, and around only 20% of them are having their own practice. So if you go for an own practice, you need to be very brave, and you have to set proper long-term and short-term goals. So most of the people, what they do is they go and join running firms as a partner, because setting up their own practice initially is like a big deal. It requires huge investment. You need to maintain different departments, like a department for tax, a department for bank audits, some for corporate audits. So you need a huge investment, and you need to hire many people. So it's a big difficulty in the earlier stages. If you join a firm as a partner, you'll be holding a complete certificate of practice. It helps us to transfer to different areas. Like, for some years you can work in some departments, and then you can shift to departments. So you have a work exposure of almost all the departments. Um, Setting up a sole proprietary, if a chartered accountant sets up a sole proprietary, then it will be a bit disadvantage to him, because for the beginning 3 years, they are not even eligible to conduct statutory and bank audits. So very few people, what they do is set up a sole proprietary in the initial stages. Most of them, they go for partnership only. And if you go for employment, the initial salary which a young chartered accountant will receive is around 6 lakhs, which is quite attractive for a young graduate. Uh, so our ICI is also conducting campus interviews, and so directly you can get placed into multinationals, banking and financial institutions, private institutions, which is getting quite helpful in obtaining jobs. But where the problem is that most of the companies are getting stuck up with, moderate people. Like they are not having too much of, not too much, sorry, excellent concepts in them, and we can't even say that they are bad. So those companies are facing problems when they are getting stuck up with these moderate people. uh, so many people, what they do is they go for service first, get exposure, and then they go into partnership or set up their own practice. So just think carefully before you go. If you want to go for a employment or you want to set up your own firm, because this is a very important period of transition, and your whole career is going to depend on that. Thank you. All the best.
I am Srijita, and here I am to express my views. Is the tax terrorism valid on India? So, by saying the term tax terrorism, what strikes in your mind? Tax terrorism. What you understand by the word tax terrorism? Just say what you think. No problem. No one?
Not paying tax.
No.
High rates of tax.
Yeah?
High rates of tax.
I did not.
Being scared of tax.
No. It's not from the viewpoint of public. Actually, what is tax terrorism is the department or the state cause inconvenience or do harassment to the public by using the laws in an illegal manner. I'll give you few examples of tax terrorism so that you can better understand it. And I want to ask one more question. Why did the department why did the people choose tax for harassing the people? Actually, there is two certainties in our life. Everybody means one or the other day has a debt, and one or the other day has to pay the tax. Even a beggar will pay tax. Can you say in which way? Indirect tax, yes. So these are the two certainties in life, that is debt and tax. So they choose tax for creating inconvenience to the public. I'll give you few examples so that you can understand the term tax terrorism. Let us take IT department, that is income tax department. What they do is that they will have a certain target, means by the in a one assessment here they have to collect this much of income. So what they do, First they demand for more tax. Suppose me, I'm earning some income. What is the tax computed by me is the original tax, but what they do is they say that you have to pay more tax than this. So they collect the tax in that way, and what they say, if it is more, we will refund it back in a shorter period of time with interest. So actually what they do, by the end of March, they create a demand notice, so that they will we have to, if demand notice comes, we have to pay the whole amount. So we all pay the whole amount by the end of March or something. And what they do is they bridge this gap to the next year. Means by the end of that year, that income will be generated, means the target will be completed. But actually that is not the original tax what we have to pay. The same the other means the amount which have to be refunded is transferred to the next year, so that we have to again file for a refund of our excess of tax paid. In this way they collect more tax. In next one is they go to the representatives of the higher large companies. What they do is that they will they will give confirmation to them that if you pay advance tax in a high amount, if it is in excess, we will refund it back with a high interest. But actually they doesn't do that. What they do is the amount of refund they bring it to nil by showing that the taxpayer has to pay interest to us. In that way they take that money. Next one is that coming to indirect tax. There are input tax credits and VAT credits, everything. What they do is that even though the taxpayer is eligible for that credits, they say in some or the other way that the taxpayer is not eligible for a tax credit. What the taxpayer can do is only he can appeal for again a rectification. That also takes too many years for getting rectified. So it is an indirect way of arising the public using a tax system. Actually. So what are the consequences of this? If that means money all gets blocked with the department, so they cannot use that money in their business effectively. Actually, if the same money is used in business, they can earn more income and pay more tax. But the department is not thinking in such a way. And the other point is that even foreign investors will fear to invest in India, because they know all the consequences of this. Means they'll know that Indian tax department is collecting more tax than required. So even foreign investors will not be interested to invest in the Indian economy. Actually, even the department itself know that they are doing a wrong thing, but they have a blindfold. However, they have to, at any cost, they have to reach the target. Actually, the point of target comes because of the budget. In every budget, they target some percentage of income should be gathered from the public. Actually, really speaking, the growth rate of economy is 6.5% or 7%. But what the target is that 20%, the income generated should be increased by 20%, which is really unrealistic. So for this also we are responsible, because even the finance minister, when he gathers the points, even the chartered accountants help them how to which percentage we have to collect the income from the public. So if and by chance we get a chance in future, if to assist the finance minister also, we have to see that we set a realistic target so that the general public is not harassed. But nowadays the revenue secretary has taken few steps, like refunding it in a time limit as prescribed in the laws and so on. But however, these are not being implemented properly due to lack of monitoring in ground levels. Coming to what is the according to me, the tax terrorism tag on India is valid. However, this can be reduced. Even the first reform is that the GST has been passed before few days. So this will help in reducing the tax terrorism in India. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. My name is Or Prasad. Now, I am going to deal the topic about future trends in financial industry in India. So, what is the financial services nowadays? Financial service is an economic services provided by the financial institutions and some major institutions like insurance companies, credit unions, SBI banks, and some unions. But according to the definition of 65 subsection 10 of the Finance Act 1994, the following matters are provided by the banking companies in financial institutions, including non-banking financial institutions. They are the services like merchant banking services and credit card services, and like leasing services and hire purchase, and equipment leasing services, and other advisory measures and acquisitions, and portfolio management, fund management, also data processing. How what are the ingredients in to deal with the financial services? What are the ingredients is first there is a transaction exchange of goods and services, like, and next one is mobilizing of savings and allocation of capital and transferring of risk. Like there is also some of the functions of financial services, how to construct a product in financial services, or how to give services to the people is based on the following factors. Like one is customer specific. In customer specific, there is the products, the companies provide services based on the customer needs, and there are also market survey in every year, and they are innovating technology, innovating the new products with reach the end customers. The other one is there is in financial industry, unlike the other industries, other service sectors, the financial industry is every time you change the product, and you implement the new ideas and use the best technology in the services, and the existing is gone away. And the market dynamics, as per in the product coming to the product to the market, they are based on many of the factors, like the standard of living of the peoples, the per capita income of the single peoples. They are seeing a lot of factors in to coming into the product in the market. Now the financial industry in India is growing very much. In the industry, and their scope is very high in future trends. Also in BFCI is banking. There are many. In financial sector, we have there are major types of financial intermediaries and financial markets, and the financial institutions, financial products, and also the BFSI is a banking and financial services, include mutual funds, and is insurance sectors. In insurance sectors, insurance companies, you see the 15 trillion crores are in assets in India. The latest report 2011, the Insurance Regulatory Authority of India, in life insurance there are 89,000 crores. 89,000 crores are in assets, and also new policies are implemented, and in private companies and old public companies.